Possible Podcast, episode 19, with me, Anna Essen. Today, we're going to talk about SMART goals and why they're not so smart, and what is a better alternative, especially when you are stepping into the era of your conscious business and being a conscious founder. I suppose that many of you have heard about the framework of defining goals as a SMART goals, and SMART stays for specific, measurable, then actionable or attainable, relevant or realistic. There's a different way how this has been defined, and also time based. What does it mean? It means that when we want to create something big, it is not so easy to approach directly the bigger goal, your bold mission, your bigger vision, your bigger business goal, right? Or in any area of your life. Could be like you willing to maybe lose 50 kg, or you willing to create an extremely healthy life, right? So instead, we have been told that the best way to achieve the bigger goal is to break it down into a small goals that follows the SMART framework. And when you look at this, every big goal, every big achievement that you want to experience in your life can be break down, and it's sound very simple and very easy. And when it's very simple and very easy, we will assume that everyone who set up a bigger goal and is able to create a chunks of a smart goals will achieve the smart goals, the smaller one, and will, as consequence, achieve the bigger one. But when you look in the outside world, in reality, what we experience and what we also know from statistic is that if we just go in the direction of business, is that I think around 50% of new businesses uh, go out of business within the first year. And I think a pretty big amount of the rest of the businesses within the next 5 years. So if achieving goals and creating something successful can be done by defining SMART goals, why is it so easy? If this definition is so easy and so simple, why is not easy to achieve it? And the reason is because, in my observation, by working with a lot of entrepreneurs across the globe, different industry, different ages, different level of success, uh, different culture, different background, like everything completely different. If they're not able to achieve their goals, it's not how they define the goals, but is in on the way to achieve the goal. It's not about the goal itself, it's about the person you have to become as you are approaching this goal. And that is exactly the challenge, why some are able to achieve their goals and some not. Because if in the definition of the person approaching the goal, by achieving a certain goal, by achieving a certain level of, for example, financial income, or by achieving a certain level of health or relationship, there is a subconscious definition that the person they have to become has something less in a very important area of this person's life than if the person stays in the area where it is. Give you an example. Imagine you are creating a business and your goal is to have 100K income every month. But in your perception, the version that you have to become in order to be able to create the 100K, not just once, but also holding it constantly, maybe this version of you, this identity of you, will have less time to spend with your family, with your children, with your friends, or with a me time, a relaxed time. And if, for example, internally you have put the priority of family time or um, time with friends or traveling higher than, for example, making a 100K a month, then subconsciously, not consciously, but subconsciously, you will do everything possible to sabotage this goal. No matter how smart, no matter how easy, no matter how simple it is defined. So, what we have been taught in the definition of achieving some goal start actually from the middle of that what is important to achieve the goal, or better say from the end, instead of that where it actually have to start. And that is first, before you define what you want to achieve in the outside, you have to define, architect, create what kind of identity you are willing to embody as you achieve those goals. And why is this very important? Because again, if your subconscious mind believes that you will have less time with your family when you create a 100K monthly revenue, and this is more important to you, so it is actually working against it. And it's afraid of actually achieving this goal because it won't serve the real priority of you. But if we turn around the process, instead of setting the goals in the outside and then, on the way there, we try to figure out what kind of personality, what kind of identity we have to embody so we can achieve this goal. What if we first start with this version of you? What if you first sit down and you define who you want to become when this goal is achieved? How do you want your life to look like when this goal is achieved? And by doing so, it happens two very important things. The first one is when you sit and really architect the way you want to have it, not the way how you are scared and how you don't want to have it, but instead how you want to be, how you want your life to look like when you achieve this. You introduce this identity to your subconscious mind by sitting and really defining it, and you make this identity known to your subconscious mind. So instead of actually guessing, you define what is the version of you want to become by achieving this goal. And then when you connect with this version on a mental and emotional level and energetic level, a second things happen. Your brain start to believe that you are already this version of you. Why? There is a lot of researches around the brain activities and how the brain perceives things. And your brain cannot differentiate between something that really have happened in your life, something that had happened in the past, and between something that you introduce to your brain and you also emotionally feels that you imagine had happened, but in the real life hasn't happened yet. So that means when you create this version of you who is achieving 100K month constantly every month, and you connect with this version, and also you connect with the feeling of how you will feel when you achieve this goal, and you really emotionally feel this emotion and you imagine this situation to a level that is happening in this moment, your subconscious mind start believing that it has already happened. And when your subconscious mind start believing that it has already happened, it start looking for proofs in your outside world that this is the reality. So what happened is that by you architecting your future version that has already achieved this goal, and you feel fully connect with this version and embodying it in this case, because you connect mentally and emotionally and energetically with you, the achieving of the goal, in this case the 100K month, becomes a logical consequences of you becoming and embodying this version of you. So that means instead of setting a smart goals that, as you now learn based on that what you believe about yourself may not be so smart for you to set, it's better to define an architect, not just define an architect. That means you sit and you really architect all your areas of your life, how your life will look like when you achieve this goal. Then you connect with this version of you. Ideally, you connect on a day-to-day basis, from a moment to moment. And then what will happen is that your subconscious mind will start pointing you and bringing you in situation, to circumstances, suddenly finding kind of information or getting some kind of intuitive thought or connecting with people, because it is looking for proofs in the outside world for that what it had experienced already by you connecting with your evolved version. And now I'm going to give you also a third point. For some of you, this concept might be a little challenging to contemplate, but for those of you who already operate on a higher level of consciousness, that has already have some grasp of quantum physics, of manifestation, materialization, I trust this will sound very familiar, and yet it is always good to be reminded of this. The version of you that you are sitting and creating and architecting and defining how his life will looks like, right, by achieving a certain goal or experiencing a certain like experience that from the position that you are seems pretty far away or pretty big. This version of you already exists. So you exist, and this version of you also exists. The difference between the version of you in the current now, the identity of you, and the identity of this version of you that has already achieved the goals that you are willing to define and to achieve is just in the frequency. It is just on another timeline. And what do I mean by this? When you look in the outside world, we pretty much, most of us, yet still operate on the Newtonian physics laws. So that means in order to achieve a goal, a time has to pass and a space have to be kind of, you need to move through space. So you need to move through time and space. Okay, so time has to go by and s- something needs to happen. You need to go there, meet this person, take this activity whatsoever, right? It's time and space. When you look in the quantum physics, the quantum physics explains that there is only one time, and that is the now. So there is no time and space, but there is space in the time, and the time is the now. So that means, like, all these versions of you, the one who have achieved the goals, the one who has even overachieved the goals, the one who had completely failed, or the one who never ever had the idea of starting this business or approaching this goal, all of those versions exist simultaneously in the now. And when you decide with which version you want to connect, and you architect this version, because all possibility exists in the now and all probability, and you connect with this version, you feel her rhythm, her vibration. um yeah, the rhythm is the best word, right? And you connect with her, you kind of entangle your current version of you with this version. And actually, it is possible to immediately embody it and to shift immediately to this timeline. Why I say actually? Because depending on how emotionally charged the goal is that you want to achieve, and how big of a stretch it might look for your brain, or how big the shift between the version of you that you are currently, the identity, and the version of you that you're willing to architect, depending on how big seems, it's not that it's a big, but it seems for you that the stretch is very big, then it might take time to go from the identity that you are to the identity that you want to become. But there is a shortcut. For everything, there is a shortcut. And the shortcut is to identify all the fears and blockages that, or the emotional charge that you have towards this goal, not only to architect your version of self, but to make it to a daily practice to connect with this version of you. And also to start questioning this version of you, what kind of decisions she has already done in order to achieve this goal in this situation, on this situation, what happened here, what happened there. And I have an amazing surprise for you, because the last few days I have been working on a workbook that will be ready within the next 2 days after launching this podcast, that you can get completely free. And this workbook not only includes a detailed technique how to architect this evolved version, this future version of you, but also has a very powerful recorded activation to literally not only mentally but emotionally to be able to connect with her and also to experience her rhythm, to embody her rhythm, and to bring it back into the now as your day to day mentor. And that is just first part of a full circle of activation for helping you to receive or upgrade your conscious, heart driven $1 billion mission that is laid in your blueprint before you are actually born. And not only this, but also to identify your individual blueprint of success. And as a last step, but very, very important, is to face your fears in a way that you will be happy doing this so, and to let them go so you can literally connect with your billionaire self, embody it, and allow her to guide you towards your $1 billion mission, the one big heart mission where you are willing to create an impact that goes beyond your current conscious understanding. I love to call it your impossible mission, because the mission that you receive in your heart will make sense at the beginning, most probably only to you, as it is meant to be revealed through you. And by embodying your billionaire self, you'll activate and connect your ego with your higher self, your I am, and you will turn this impossible mission into your I am possible realization here on earth. So if you're ready to take this courageous step to create your billionaire self, to connect with her, to receive your impossible $1 billion mission, conscious mission, right? The one that coming from the heart, to define your individual blueprint of success, the one where you don't need to jeopardize areas of your life when approaching your heart mission. And then, of course, release the fears, face them and release them and let them go, and step into the era of your billionaire self. Then click on the link below in the description, and you can join the waiting list. And if you're listening to the podcast 2 days later after I have published it, the link will change to the actual link where you can download the workbook absolutely for free. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to see and experience more and more people, especially power women, that carries, and they know they carries these big missions in their heart, to actually start materializing them, realizing them. Because when you receive your heart mission, it is a mission that is of service of you personally, the people around you, but also humanity. Because no mission that it comes from the heart deeply and truly can harm or start creating a winner and loser situation, but it creates always a win-win-win situation. And I want to see that more of us start embodying and approaching these missions. I'm so grateful that I have received my own impossible mission. And now I'm putting the pieces together that I know clearly that belongs to this mission, but also allow myself to walk this unlaid path, to walk this unknown path, because there is no a playbook for that, what I'm creating. And I trust that the mission, when you receive it in your heart, there won't be also a playbook for this, because the playbook will come from within. The blueprint will come from within you. And everything that you need, the environment, the people around you, the expertise, the knowledge, everything will perfectly synchronistically come together when you decide to step in and follow and take a full responsibility for your mission and start creating it here and now. Because we need you. We need you in your highest possible version that you can create now. And we need you to uncover the mission that has been placed in your heart and start bringing it into this reality. I see you. I love you. Your Anna.